Hi there, it's Colin Daniel from riffninja.com. How you doing? Seems like there's a lot of you out there that would like to know more about the B minor chord and how to master it. So this is a short taste of how I like to teach and what I have to offer. And the B minor chord seems to be a struggle for a lot of people because there's no real open B minor chord. Like for example, you have a G major, you have a C major, you have a D major. These are chords that have open strings in them, and because of the position of where they are on the guitar, they're more easily accessible fingering-wise. But when we get to the B minor, we're more limited because of the notes that are in B minor. And if you were an advanced player, then I could explain to you in more detail why this B minor is the way it is and why we struggle with it. But for now, because I'm on the KISS rule right now, and that's keep it simple, stupid, I'm going to just show you how to get around some of these real basic issues that my students have had trying to get this chord. And there are shortcuts and other solutions to it, but I think the best one is using as many strings as you can, because that makes for the richest chord. A little history on the chord is, and you may not know this, but it's good to point out, I'm sure most of you play an A minor chord. You've seen that chord before, right? So if you can relate to this A minor chord and see the B minor chord as a barred A minor, see this is A minor, I've just flipped my fingers around. I'm using second, third, and fourth, and now I'm pretending there's a bar behind my string nut here on my left hand. But you can see the shape's the same, right? We've had to use the bar to move it up. So really, the B minor chord came from an A minor, okay? You're just what they call transposing, right? I mean, you can move this chord anywhere. That's the beauty of that bar chord. So once you understand where the chord's coming from, then the next thing is technique, right? One of the issues is in the bar finger, and really the secret to a good bar is that you're not really using the flat of your finger right here. You're actually using more the edge of the finger. You're rolling your finger over, and I don't know if you can see this very well, but my thumb is centered at the back. So if you picture wherever my chord's going to be laying down, my thumb is centered behind that, like that. So I'm centered with the position, and my bar is close, very close to the fret. It's not as far back as if I have individual fingers. I'll actually put the fingers more to the center of the two frets. Remember, you're always playing the fret in front of you, okay? So whatever's in front of your finger, like if this is my first finger, then it's this is the second fret right here, because you're pressing the string down from that point. So the string vibrates from where the string is being pushed down to the fret, which is right in front of the finger that you're applying the pressure to, right? So for this bar, if you can kind of sneak up to that fret, center your thumb, don't wrap it around like that. If you wrap it around like that, you're going to struggle with it. You won't get a good bar, especially if you've got shorter fingers, right? Because the size thing can be an issue too, and also the way you bar it, like I've seen, this is an over-exaggeration, but your first finger, they're using this part of their first finger. Man, that's really awkward for me, because now these fingers are all pointing in too far, in towards, like they should be more of an even arc. My extra fingers, the ones that aren't barring, these aren't barring, but they're part of the chord, right? That's my second, third, and fourth finger. It's my first finger that's really finishing the bar chord off. So it's really the same shape that we've moved up, and then we've just barred it, right? Okay, so that's B minor with the bar, and I like all 6 strings. Although that's not the root. The root's on the 5th string, okay? So this is the B root. This is a lower thing. If I'm playing alternate bass notes, I'll bar all 6 strings. So that's B minor, right? All right. And so remember, your thumb has to be centered, and use more the edge of your finger here. And you slide up as close as you can. Now, if this bar is physically impossible for you because of some issue, we can now break the chord down into simpler terms. As long as you understand that this A minor and this B minor are really the same pattern, just moved up. You're using your bar finger here as a capo, or this nut here as a movable nut. You're basically just moving the whole fretboard and making it shorter by using the bar. And making it shorter, the string length shorter, means you're going to raise your pitch. So if this was an A minor, this is a B minor, right? Got it? Good. Okay. Now, there are other forms of B minor. I'm going to mention them in a second. But here's the next thing. This, I feel, is the richest sounding chord, right? Because you've got at least 5 strings. Now there's another chord that uses 4 strings, and that's played like this. Of course, you can't play the A and the E. Well, I can't say you can't play the A, because the A can actually work in this under certain circumstances, but really, it's not part of this chord. It's another extended harmony of it. It's really a 4-string chord. That's a B minor, yeah. You know, you can move this one up too, but it's only the 4 high strings. There's B minor, there's B minor. And we have another simple chord, a simpler one. This is called a triad. Oops. So this is B minor, 4-string. This is the B minor triad, meaning the 3-note chord. And there's your B minor, first finger here. I think you probably could figure it out. It's pretty simple. It's like, go back to this bar where you're playing A minor and you're moving it up, right? All you have to do here is put your first finger down, because now your first finger is playing what the bar caught here at the 5th and the 1st string. It's only catching the 1st string with the bar caught. So they're all related. Look, that's still in an A minor form, you see? If you can relate to the shape that way a little more, it's a little easier to grab the concept of it. You're really just taking notes and moving them up, right? So of course, like I said, it's movable. Just don't use the 5th or the 6th string, because those roots don't always line up. In some cases they do. You know, here at E minor it does. But here at B minor it doesn't work as well. Okay? So it has to do with the relation of the harmonies. But this is B minor, and you can see the relationship between this B minor and this one, the bar. And you can also see the relationship between this B minor and this one. All I've done is taken the pinky off. If your fingers are really weak or you're struggling, this is still a movable chord. Still movable. And this is still B minor. It's a nice sounding chord. It's a very famous chord. There's many songs that have started with that B minor. So there's a full bar. There's the 4-finger B minor. So full bar, 4-finger B minor, and 3-finger B minor, and that would mean 3 strings too. Okay, and of course you can move them up. There's one other option you have. Here's your E minor. I'm sure you've seen that chord. It's one of the easier chords to learn on the guitar when you're beginning, and it's also a very popular chord. E minor. Now we're going to bar that and move it up. Like, look, there's E minor, right? You know? My first finger is behind the nut to show you what it looks like visually if I had another fret there. See, we have to start somewhere on the fingerboard, so we start here. Okay, there's E minor. I'm going to move it up. That'd be F minor. That'd be G minor. That'd be A minor, and that'd be B minor. That would be the 7th fret, 1st fret, 3rd fret, 5th fret, 7th fret. 1st fret plus 2 is 3rd. 3rd fret plus 2 is 5th. 5th fret plus 2 is 7th fret. So it's really an E minor chord barred at the 7th fret. Listen. Now, if you have a hard time with this B minor chord, it could be that you just don't quite have the strength, right? And if you might have an easier time with this chord because the frets are a little closer together. It's still a B minor, okay? Same rule applies that I went through earlier about, you know, centering your thumb, having the edge of the finger, using that as the bar. You know, that's what you need to do. But that's a nice sounding B minor too. But they sound similar. There's the 3-string B minor. You can hear the 3-string B minor is a lot weaker than the other 2 B minors that are barred. So that's the advantage, you know, nice rich chord sound. If you're nice rich chord sound. The 3-note B minor is more for arpeggiated or picking things. And same with the 4-note. But for chording, man, can't beat those 2 bars, so you'll want to work on that. Remember, it's all about your thumb. I don't know if you can see that. You should be able to. Square it up. The other fingers that aren't barring come down on an even arc, so you're using more of your fingertip. If you don't, you're going to have troubles underneath the strings because, say, for example, if your pinky here leans too far towards the 3rd string, no matter how hard you press with your 3rd finger on the 3rd string, this pinky's already muted the string, so you won't get a clear sound out of it. So you've got, when you lay down your fingers, you've got to give it enough clearance so that whatever string is below it can ring freely, right? So if you're tilted too far on an angle, well, that's a problem. That's a serious problem. So this is what I recommend, is keep your hand behind the neck, use the edge of your finger as a bar, and have a nice even arc on the rest of your fingers that are pressing down the frets that you need for a certain chord. So this application goes for either chords, the B minor here or the B minor here, okay? I wish you luck, and if you'd like to see more about my teaching and you're interested, this is just a taste of what I do, you can contact me at riffninja.com. Hope you enjoyed the lesson, and take care, and we'll see you again. It's Colin Daniel.